The coming about of two historical events incentivized Haughey further in the IFSC's creation, being deregulation in 1986 in the UK under the Margaret Thatcher government, and the establishment of a single European market that same year. This immediately created a market for millions of people across Europe, attracting American businesses to find bases of operation across the Atlantic. With the groundwork laid by the policies and vision of Sean Lemass to make Ireland a place for low tax incentives decades before, this new single market now provided seemingly limitless opportunity for financial services in the tax-regulating sector. A key legislative development for the IFSC, called UCITS, which stands for Undertakings for Collective Investment in Transferable Services, meant all financial products meeting a given standard could be approved in one EU country and sold in another. Another key factor that was to draw both Irish and US multinational companies and individuals to Ireland as a tax haven was the excluding of rivals, such as the Channel Islands and Liechtenstein, from these arrangements. The Irish elite and others have chosen to position Dublin as their financial outpost. The toxic culture had well begun to set in. Since then, instead of the establishment developing and nurturing domestic industrial policy to generate revenue, have largely relied on these tax incentives to be among its prime means of income for the state. This, as well as selling off of state assets and infrastructure over the years, has left the Irish state in a dangerous position. Threats from both the EU to impose a larger tax bracket on foreign direct investment, and the risk that other countries, namely the US, could create a competitively lower tax bracket, spells uncertainty for Ireland's future. Regardless, the establishment has continued to nurture this tax haven culture, giving numerous advantages to multinational and domestic tax evaders. Examples being the Tax Consolidation Act of 1997, essentially allowing special purpose vehicles to compute taxes as if traded as companies to make savings. Other examples being, in the case of non-trading and passive profits, supposedly within a higher taxed bracket, are given a redesignation status, classed as trading profits, and so given also a reduced tax rate. The Tax Consolidation Act of 1997 has laid the foundations for US firms to use Ireland as a conduit to avoid non-US corporate taxes. Of all the tax loopholes and devices conjured up by the state to make Ireland as accessible and attractive as possible to foreign direct investment, the crown jewel has to be the Section 110 Special Purpose Vehicle. This has made Ireland one of the top locations for securitization in Europe. Within 1 year of its establishment, US corporations have flocked en masse to Ireland. Such companies as General Electric, Heinz, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon all established treasury management operations at a staggeringly fast rate. Major banks and investment funds soon followed, with names such as Wells Fargo, Chase Morgan, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and KPMG. The IFSC, since its founding, has been a blessing to few and a curse to many. It has created a culture among the Irish elite and their foreign counterparts to share in the spoils and privileges of tax evasion that both directly and indirectly affects the lives of the ordinary. While both wealthy corporations and individuals continue to avoid paying their share to Irish revenue, the burden falls to the ordinary taxpayer to make up for these losses, and although the Irish establishment are well aware of this, continue to be party to this injustice, as long as it can manage to keep at arm's length the requests of the EU to raise its tax bracket and the competition of other countries, will, it appears, continue to service the needs of its tax-evading residents. The Irish establishment have become so closely tied to the tax haven model, and depend on it as a crutch. They appear afraid to loosen their grip, and risk having multinational corporations and individuals flee the country. So goes the classic argument, despite the losses the model continues to generate, in the billions annually. The IFSC became central to the Celtic Tiger period, due to the heavy concentration of international financial funds being housed there, becoming integral to the country's economy and national banks, of which will be looked at shortly. Firstly, however, a closer look at tax haven Ireland is crucial, as to understand modern-day Ireland itself.